Hey Orchidstas, welcome to the channel Forever Orchids. My name is Tracy. I have a confession to make. I repotted a plant that I've had. I divided it and I repotted it. And it's a plant that I have had for a long, long time. I absolutely love it. It always blooms for me in June. And it had gotten to the point where it was so root bound in the pot that to save it, I needed to do something. So I divided it. I unpotted it, repotted it. Well, it's not doing good at all. I had several divisions, and this one I just pulled out of the pot here. It's totally dead. Absolutely dead. This portion here, this is the pot that the entire plant was in, and I've already thrown away a lot of the pseudobulbs when I repotted it. In fact, I will post right here the video. Don't go watch it yet. Wait till the end of this video. I will also post it at the end, and you can just click on that and be able to watch me repotting this. And the plant, like I said, it was suffering to begin with, so it was not doing great to start with, and I divided it and repotted it, and it's still struggling, very much so struggling. I will probably end up taking this whole portion out of this plant here. But what I'm going to do is the other section that was in this pot along with this division that has totally died still has some life in it here. So I'm going to show you today a way to revive this orchid here. And what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to cut off this section here of the rhizome. I'm going to cut it right here. And this still is green. It's going to end up dying back. This is all dying back. I probably should just go on and cut it in a different, no, I still want to cut it right here. There's a little bit of green here that could still potentially put out new growth. This is the new growth that since I divided it, these two actually are new growths that have come out. We've got new roots, but the new roots got to a point where they aborted to somewhat. There's still enough here that I think it's possible that lengthwise, there's still enough that it's possible it will branch. Also, it's possible these tips will start growing again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sterilize my scissors first, and I'm going to cut this, and I'm going to put this in a specialized, for lack of a better word, let's call it a terrarium. We're going to call it an ICU for orchids. And I'm going to put sphagnum moss in the bottom, and I'm going to put this orchid down in here on the sphagnum moss. Now I can already see these leaves are going to be an issue, so this may not work, and I may have to end up getting a much larger containers to put this in. But for this video's purpose, I'm going to show you how to do this with just two plastic pots here. You can also, I have done this, and I will show you another way that I have revived an orchid. Let me tell you what this is. Let me slow down a little bit. Let me tell you what this is. This is my Encyclia radiata. It's now called Prosthechea radiata. And while I'm talking, I'm going to sterilize my tools here. And I did sterilize these tools. I've been cutting on some orchids, other orchids today, and I've already sterilized these, but I'm going to show you how I sterilize. I have a little butane torch here that I sterilize my tools with to make sure that I'm not transferring any viruses or pathogens to my orchids. Also, by having the blades hot, that's going to cauterize the wound that I'm going to make, the cut here that I'm going to make. And we just have all of these dead roots. We're just going to cut all those off. I'm just going to cut all the dead off of the pseudobulbs that I can see. Okay. And decide whether I'm going to cut any more, actually. Okay. Now I've got some sphagnum moss soaking over here in sea kelp extract. Just got me a little handful here. Look at how much water. You guys see that? How much water sphagnum moss holds. Ooh. Look at that. We're going to squeeze out as much as we can so that it's just damp sphagnum moss. And I'm going to put down here in the bottom. Really a little too much there. Just need a thin layer across the bottom. Okay, just like that. And you can, I'm not actually potting the orchid in the sphagnum moss, I'm just laying it on top. And because I've got these leaves here that are a little bit taller, that's why I'm thinking about cutting off more of this rhizome here. But the idea is you're just going to lay your plant down on top of the sphagnum moss. And then you're going to, this has tall leaves, I realize that, but you're going to get your plant in here, and then I just typically tape down the sides of my little plastic, we'll call it, lack of a better word, we've made a terrarium here. Now, I really like to use a pot that doesn't have holes in the bottom. It works a little bit better. Just don't have that at the moment. But there's also ventilation holes in this plastic pot here. I had cut some holes in here and potted something up. And anyway, okay, so what this is going to do now is this extra sphagnum moss in here and having it enclosed like this is going to create more humidity for this plant to start resuscitating, for lack of a better word. It will not be so desiccated. The pseudobulbs are very desiccated on here. And this is hopefully a way that I'm going to be able to save this plant. Now, let me show you one that I have done this method. I did a video very early on in my channel for this next plant. This next plant I got, and I will put up a picture of what the plant looked like. It was in a basket. It was in a Vanda basket. And there was the most minuscule, minute green that I found. And I thought, it's a rescue plant. I'm getting it for free. What have I got to lose? It's a Brassavola nodosa, and I do feel like it could potentially be a very good Brassavola nodosa based on the parents that it has. It definitely has one that has been awarded an FCC. So I wanted to try to save the plant. So let me show you that one. You certainly don't have to have a fully enclosed system here. Okay. Basically what I'm doing is, if you've ever heard of the spag and bag method, put a sphagnum moss in a plastic bag, clear plastic bag, put your plant in it, seal it up, throw it under the bench, leave it. And it will start to push out new growth, new roots, and it's a way of saving your plant. I'm basically doing that. I'm just not using a bag to do it. I'm creating a little terrarium here with this plant, but I've also done it where go to your local convenience, sometimes gas stations. Just get those big clear plastic pots. I got another one around here somewhere. Anyway, so this is just a drinking cup. It's a clear plastic drinking cup. And what I've done here is I've put some Stay-Lite down in the bottom. There are no holes. And I put the tiniest little pot down in here because this Brassavola nodosa, like I said, it had the tiniest little bit of green. Again, here's the picture of what it looked like. There was minuscule amount of green on here. Very, very little. and it pushed out new growth. It's pushed out new growth, and it's got another one. Feels like it's starting down there, and a little dry. I need to water it. This is Brassavola nodosa, Susan Fuchs, FCC, by the American Orchid Society, crossed with Brassavola nodosa, Mendenhall, AM, AOS. So the parents were both awarded by the American Orchid Society. It is possible that this seedling will could be awarded someday. And so I've been, quote, rescued it. And just by having it here totally open, no top to it, I still increase the humidity around the plant for it to start growing and for it to push out new roots. I do know now there was another plant I got from SVO. The plant itself ended up in my care, unfortunately, got black rot. And so I had to cut the plant up, get rid of the black rot, treat the plant, and I did the same thing. I had a larger cup, did the same thing. I didn't put it in a clay pot. This one's in a clay pot now because it got large enough to go in a clay pot. But the other plant, if I can think where it's at, and I will get that one. Let me get that plant for you. Hold on. This is another plant that I have saved. This is BLC William Farrell Native Sun crossed with BLC Kaboom SVO. And this is another one that I was able to save by doing this method here. Put some sphagnum moss in the bottom, put the little, this was a seedling to start with. And I think it was in a 3-inch pot, bigger plant, and I tried to save it, been able to save it, potted it up now into a larger clay pot, and the plant is doing fine. This is a method that you can use to save your plants. And we're going to see what happens with this one. I'll keep you guys updated on it. It is one, like I said, I've had for a really long time. It has been a well grower for me. It has bloomed every year for many, many years. Every June for me. Love, 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 absolutely love the smell of this plant, and I really wanted to save it. And I might end up doing the same thing with this portion here. It just needs some more humidity. And, I recently showed you a video on things that you can find at the Dollar Tree. And if I take this out of the pot, maybe find, I bet I could use a clay saucer and use a belle cloche that I got from the Dollar Tree. Put that over top, put some sphagnum moss on the plate, the clay saucer, and just lay all of this green here on top of that and resuscitate this plant. Because this one definitely, this might have been a whole division here. I don't know. It's not doing good in this pot. Let's just take it out and see what it looks like. It's bad. Whoo, mercy, is it bad. Yeah, so this was the bigger division that I kept of the plant. And we're just going to get in here. I had planted it in stay-light and bark. It was planted in stay-light to begin with, and that's what it was growing in. Ugh. Oh, let's see. That was a separate division there. This is exactly what I'm going to do, people. I'm going to get a little saucer, a little root tip there. I hate that. I'm just going to I think it's going to work very well if I just get a clay saucer for your clay pots. Put some sphagnum moss on it, and then get this on some sphagnum moss and increase the humidity. See how the plant, it was so root bound, it just wound itself around and around and around. in the pot. This is all one rhizome here. See how this plant typically grows? And I will, more than likely, I'm going to be losing these back bulbs anyway. They're going to probably continue to die. But there's still some nutrients, a little bit of stuff left in there. It might transfer. It might very well transfer to these new growths here. So if you hang tight just a second, I'll get that clay saucer here and show you what I'm going to do. You can see here I've just taken some sphagnum moss, and I might put some more on here. This is just what I had left over in my little bucket here that I was soaking it in. Lay the plant onto that. I'm going to angle it just so I can get the cloche on this particular one. And that's it. That right there can be a little hospital nursery, little hospital ward, little ICU for your plants. I might just start with, go ahead and close up till I can get the humidity to build up in here. Go ahead and close this up, and that little damp sphagnum moss will start increasing the humidity with inside of this dome here. So I am hoping, keeping my fingers crossed, that I can continue to save this plant, these two divisions here. And, you know, what I can do is, I've shown you two different methods for my purposes. I could take this division and put it in here as well and just have this one little setup here. You probably would like for me to just keep it like this, right? So I can show you the progress that it's going to make. But I know this method works. Like I said, I've done it, and I've saved this plant here. Once I started getting larger growths, because it was down in a cup like this that I got at a gas station, then I was able to take it out and pot it up and continue growing the seedling. After that one was infected with black rot. And I'm going to have to treat my zygonesia. It's so distressing. That got black rot. I took care of some of the bulbs that was on it, left a big bulb. It shot out some new growth. Now that big bulb, it has black rot. It has a rot that has started. I got to treat that. And I'm going to do the same method, do the same thing for that plant, what's left of it. So there's a lot to do. There is a lot to do. It's springtime, and I've got new roots pushing out and new growths that are starting to happen and repotting that needs to take place. So it's just a busy time of year, but I do really want to save that zygonesia. That was the one with the cultivar bluebird, and that was the one that last year in May was the grand champion at an Orchid Society show. So I hate that that has happened to that particular plant, and it's an absolutely gorgeous bloom, and I want to try to save it. So I'm going to end up doing the same thing. Might have to go back to the Dollar Tree and buy another one of these little plastic bell cloches. You can definitely get these cloches in thicker plastic. You can get them in glass. In fact, I've got some apothecary jars that would work the same way. Put some sphagnum moss in the bottom, put the plant down it, and you can resuscitate your plants that way too. And I have a box with some apothecary jars in them. I haven't unpacked them yet, so I might need to unpack them and do this same method here. But I'm just showing you where you can use some relatively inexpensive products and go ahead and, you know, buy yourself, a drink and save the plastic cup, the clear plastic cup. Go to the gas station. I literally went into the gas station and I said, I know this is going to be a really weird question, but can I have one of those big clear cups over there? And they were like, Yeah, sure. Okay. And you can use that to get that extra humidity around your plants, and it's really going to help them push out new roots and new leaves. And that is just something, guys, we just have to do if we're growing indoors. Sometimes we don't have an option, and that's the only way to save a plant. I know a fellow friend of mine, he does the bag and spag method. He's been growing orchids longer than I have, and he grows heirloom cattleyas. So he definitely wants to save those heirloom cattleyas. And if he's got one that's in trouble, he'll put it with some sphagnum moss, put it in a bag. Actually, he's told me, you know, when you go to stores and you see that they're nice enough that they'll have the umbrella plastic bags, grocery stores sometimes have it so that you're not dripping water. If you've come in and it's a rainy day, dripping water everywhere, those plastic bags will also work well for your much larger plants. I'm rambling. I know. I'm sorry. Was going to keep this a quick little video, and I just keep on rambling. So until next time, guys, and I just realized one of the lights was out. I hope you've been able to see me during this video and I don't have to redo it. So anyway, take care. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you will like and subscribe it. It really helps the channel. And until next time, guys, happy orchid growing. Bye.